Hello, hello. We are live. 9 minutes early, although I've been trying for the last 15 minutes. Hopefully, the connection will be good. Let me check the posts. I uploaded the video. Alan, how's it going? Yeah, you commented on the video. Mike Tufts, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Just three of us right now. That's everybody. Doesn't even show up on the. Aaron Wilson, hello. Jim Main, hello. Brandon, Andrew Muntz. Andrew, what's up? I still got to get your knife made. I have it over here, sitting there. Andrew, don't think I forgot about you. You can probably think that I forgot, but I got the knife sitting up here. I'm not going to show it to everybody because they'll get jealous. Yeah. Buckskin NYB or Marty is here. Tommy Taylor, Jim Cooper. Hey, BL Thompson. Hey, nice to see everybody. Yeah, let me check something. I was going to check something real quick. Oh, yeah, the posts. Let's see if anyone has posted anything new since the last time. They'll have something to talk about. I'll have something to talk about. Yeah. What are posts? Like on my channel, I have posts now and community stuff. Okay, Mike Tufts. Haven't seen that one. Update to video. If you don't want to bend over as much, use the maul to split with and a sledge to drive it. I have enough now, I believe. Yeah, he splitting some Osage. Ooh, there's another picture. Is it safe? It's a lot of wood. Yeah. This is posted on our community. And if you're not a subscriber, you can't get in. Yeah. Right? Is that how it works? Oh, look at that. Smallzilla or Harley has posted some stuff you're missing out on. You're missing out on the pendants. Andrew, your girlfriend was asking yesterday. She's napping. I didn't know she's a napper. Dang it! I'm trying to catch up with the back orders, so I've been shipping them all out. I've been shipping them out all week. But there is a list. I gotta try to work off the list. But yours, I should have hers done pretty quick here. Black Locust. Oh, it's not Osage. It looked like it. Oh, okay. But yeah, Black Locust works too. Black Locust is pretty good. Yeah. Let's see. I got this microphone too close. All right. BL Thompson. Mamie says, "Hi, Jack Crafty. It's me, Mamie. Your youngest fan." Awesome. No rush, says Andrew. I like the way you think, although, I get anxiety when I look at my list. Devin is here. Yo, 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 Mr. Patrick. Hope the Friday is going swell. Yeah, we had a big old storm not long ago. And little bitty bits of hail. It reminded me of Texas. Yeah. Just little tiny, like little, what do you call it? BB size hails. But you could hear them on the glass of the windshield while I was driving earlier. I went to the store and got some lunch. Well, and then I went to the market, farmer's market. But anyway, yeah, reminded me of Texas, little bitty hailstones. Aaron Wilson says, gonna spend the day tomorrow with my new boppers from Mike at my obsidian quarry making bifaces. Quite excited. It sounds excellent. Let's see here. Devin. Yeah, everything's going good, including the live streams and the chats and the posts. Yeah, my latest posts. If you haven't seen, That's the beginning because people don't want to see the memes at first. They don't want to. They don't want their feed, taken up by stuff like that. So I put a little introductory post. Memes, July 10th. Yeah, and then scroll the first meme. I got 4 memes after that. See that? There. I like making those. That's something I like doing. Something that I enjoy the journey a little bit because I get to laugh before I post. If it doesn't make me laugh, I don't post it. Sometimes I sit there and I try to type in something and I go, this is not going to work. This picture's not going to work. So I got to figure something else out. Cigars. Yeah, a little bit of tobacco porn. Can I say that? It doesn't matter. I don't have these monetized, these live streams. In case something slips out. Yeah. Let's see who else we got in the house. Devin says, I've been bifacing all week. I'm going to finish some points and blades this weekend. Okay, so the live streams now are going to be chat for the first hour, and then I'll nap for 45 minutes on the beginning at the top of the hour on the next hour. It's a 2-hour live stream. And then I'll try to wrap it up in the last 15 minutes. So what's coming up to nap so that I'm going to nap this. It's like a hornstone. I think that's what it is. Kentucky hornstone or Indiana hornstone. I think it's Indiana hornstone. I can't remember. Anyway, come back in an hour and I'll be napping this. Maybe. But yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. If that breaks, I got some other stuff in here. Don't I? I think I do. Well, I got the bifaces from the last video. I might nap on one of those, or I might just try to nap a chunk of alibates, a little bitty chunk of alibates. It's little bitty, but it's alibates, which means it's awesome sauce. Dwayne Griffin is here. Patrick Truesdale is here. Long time no see. Do you ever make any lost lakes? Asks Ray Smith. Yeah, just type in Jack Crafty Lost Lake. I have at least one video on it, right? Mike Tuff says, can you guys click on this link that I sent? I don't see any links, Mike. Mike Tuff says, me and AI has the same taste in women. No, I had to choose. Like, AI gave me different choices. So I chose one that seems to appear in many of the images that pop up when I type in a certain prompt. So she pops up, looks familiar, so I save. So yeah, AI has a few, probably combination of, averages of different women. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Mac Bales is here. Just face nap some fresh brown trout, shrimp, and broccoli. Howdy. Sup. Tommy Taylor says, don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, people are forgetting. They sign in and they just go, They watch and they go. I don't know what they're doing when they're watching because obviously they're doing something that doesn't allow them to hit the like button. Yeah. Or look at the, pick up their other phone and look at the posts. They're doing something when they're watching the live stream or they're driving. Yeah. Wait a second here. You're already commenting on the unboxing video, the one that I posted just before this live stream. Styly Designs, hello. Yeah, then you and me have the same taste, pretty much. But it's kind of also because that particular woman comes up a lot in the AI prompts that I type in. So what's good is that I can focus on one so she'll look familiar each time you see. Yeah, because I got different facial expressions now. Yeah. Anyway, just to break up give some variety. So Sean Connery and Ader commented, I've been waiting for this review on the unboxing. Good. Mamie. So Sean Connery or Ader, and then let's see. You say it's me, Mamie. B.L. Thompson. Okay, same person. Mamie says, "Hi, Jack Crafty. It's me, Mamie, your youngest fan." Okay, so she's watching. Hey, hello. I know I'm kind of spastic. I didn't really read that correctly the first time. Mike Mason, sup, y'all? Let's see. Jim Cooper says, if you want to recheck, I just posted a couple more photo groups. One of some of my flake buckets and a few knives I made. Anyone who wants to know the kinds of flakes I have should check it out. Patrick Trousdale, I think, right? Trousdale, not Truesdale. Patrick Trousdale. I'm napping some raw, untreated, but I still have 1/4 of the turtleback, and I'm down to 2 inches of length. So this one is toast. Toast. Yeah. Dwayne says, did you get something in the mail for me this week? From Dwayne. Jay Adams. I got something. Yeah, I got gloves from you. Didn't I give you a message? Let me see. But yeah, I got your gloves. I thought I had sent you a message. I got the picture. I took a picture of the package. Yeah, I don't want to show the picture because it'll show the address of an innocent person. But yeah, I got your gloves, Dwayne. Yeah, I forgot to send you the picture. I apologize. Thank you very much. Ross Wellman, hello all. More fun on the live stream. Yeah, if you're new, I have a 2-hour live stream 3 times a week. This is the Friday night one. All the live streams are in different times. Like a Monday, it's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, it's from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. And Friday, it's from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Now, why are they all different times and stuff? It's because I've got other commitments. Like I do an auction on Monday, so I can't have it from 8 to 10 on Monday like I'm having it on Friday. And a lot of times on Friday, I got stuff during the day, especially stuff comes up that I have to do at the last minute. Before the end of business day, Friday, I got to make sure it's clear just in case I have something to do at the last minute. Buy something or go to the store or call. I got to make sure that time is free. So I wait until late Friday. And then Wednesday, I used to have a live stream. I used to have a channel news at this time where I used to try to post at the time 2 to 4 p.m. on Wednesday. So that's the story behind that. Long story. But yeah, if you're new, I have 3 2-hour live streams every week now. I'm trying to do the live streams because we can interact in live time, in real time, and get answers to questions quickly. Get to meet everybody else that watches the channel and subscribes to the channel. Well, almost everybody. You get to meet the loyal people. Yeah. Everybody else usually just cruises in and out of the channel. They're doom scrolling. I find that most of my viewers are doom scrollers. But during the chat, you get to meet the community during the live stream. See, I have this thing where I can think of a word, but I say something different. So like when I say live stream, I'm thinking live stream, but I say chat. And the only way I can figure out that I said chat is by constantly memorizing in what I'm hearing myself saying. Sometimes I don't try to memorize what I'm saying. So if I say chat, I mean live stream. Except when I say comment section, chat in the comment section. You don't need to know that, I know, but I just want to clear that up because it bugs me that I do that. Yeah. David De Lorenzo says he's late. Yeah, 7 minutes late. What's up? Had to put the chickens in. Hey, Aaron Wilson, super, what do you call these? Super somethings, $9.99. Super chat, $9.99. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, awesome. No, I got the package in the mail from Dwayne. Yeah, it's going to be a fun live stream. Always. Alan Cole says I'm being ignored by Patrick. But how? What did I ignore? Did you ask me a question? Oh, yes. Question. Patrick, do you know how Sal can make his live stream public? Yeah, he hit the public option. Yeah. I was on one of Sal's live streams on his phone, so I don't know. Is he having a problem? I've been on one of, well, maybe it was the first Sal live stream. He sent it from his phone, so maybe he didn't know how he didn't know he did not know what buttons he pushed. Perhaps I do that. I will almost figure out something and just kind of randomly push buttons and it works by chance, and then I don't know how I did it. I know that happens. Yeah. What else did I miss? If I miss your comment, just say I'm ignoring you. What's up? Patrick Trousdale, I never catch your auction because I'm always at work. Dang it. Alan Cole says Sal hasn't figured it out. Well, you just got to look around for the buttons. Yeah. But it defaults to public anyway. On the live, when you say go live, it defaults to public. You have to push private if you want private. But it should default to public, and then you just go ahead and go and hit the go live button. And as long as your phone is hooked up, I mean, as long as it sees your phone, because if you do it straight from the phone, it'll see your phone. Now I'm on the computer as well. In fact, I think it originates from the computer, and then it uses my phone, my other phone, for the video. Because now YouTube is somehow in communication with my phone when I turn on the computer to go live. And that's probably one reason why it takes me at least 2 tries to get live. Sometimes I get lucky and it goes live right away when I hit the go live button, but usually it doesn't. Like this live stream took me 3 tries. So I think it's got to do with the computer. Something maybe outdated with the computer. Let's see. Ken says here, Prairie Ghost Ken is here. Ken says, hey, nappers, I just had a great day napping. 7 hours spent all day playing with glass. Learned a lot. Also made a DIY indirect stick. Hope everyone's having a great day. Yeah. So far, so good. Mike Tuff says, I like the live streams. It's like hanging out with you pals. Yeah, it is. Mike Mason, PGK. Okay, say hi to everybody. Yes. Jim Main. Jim, I opened up your box of goodies in the previous video. Yeah. All right. If you have questions, please ask. Because in the second hour, when I start napping, I don't watch the chat very much. And I might miss some questions. So either post questions in the first hour or wait till the last 15 minutes. And then I usually go over the time by about 5 to 10 minutes because it always happens. Somebody shows up and says, hello, like at 5 minutes after they're supposed to be over. Yeah. Hello, I'm here. Yeah, but it's already like 5 minutes after it's already over. Let's see. Ken says, I'll post the picture right now. All right. Post it on the post. All right. You're supposed to post on the post. Yeah. All right. Yes. Okay. I'm looking at other comments too from other videos. I haven't looked at these. What happened? And you'll have to go to the post on the community section of the channel to see the memes. Yeah, I'm not going to cheat and show you the memes on my phone. It's cheating. It's a shortcut. You're going to have to go to the community section. What's the community section on there? Just go to my channel, right? And then it'll say view community. View community. You can hit that button or you can scroll down here where it says posts. Posts right there. And touch that button. It'll bring you to the same thing. View community. And then Jim Cooper just posted some stuff. And we go, whoa, look what Jim Cooper posted. He's supposed to post on the posts. Yeah, just like he's supposed to. Yeah, I know, I'm a spaz. Okay, you can click newest. It'll update it according to the newest posts. And you'll get to see a bunch of stuff. Look at the buckets. Whose buckets are they? Jim Cooper's 5-gallon buckets of treasure. Yeah. Look at it all. Look at it. Awesome. What else? Who else we got? Okay, we already seen this. Mike Tufts is splitting some black locust. He's got piles of it. I need to get a pile like that going myself. Why am I putting the phone in front of my face? It's because it doesn't zoom in on it unless I do that. And then we got pendants. What else we got? Oh, close-ups and transparency. Fancy. Yes. Get your fingers out of the way. Yeah, I know. Look how small those are. Yeah. Those are little bird points. Is that it? 5 out of 5, yes. Okay. You can only post five photos or whatever. That's a bummer. I thought I could post as many as I want. I thought I could, but I couldn't. Yeah. All right. So we got a lot of community activity. All right. So become part of the community activity. I know only like 5 to 10 people look at these things, but it's 5 to 10 of the most important people. Yeah. Hey, wait. I can see myself on the Friday night live stream. Look at that. I can hit that and watch myself. Maybe I can chat and post links. No. Yeah. 30 watching. Yeah. And if you haven't hit the like button, it's okay. If you don't like hitting the like button, don't feel obligated. Just know that I don't like you either. All right? All right. Yeah. And I have a video just before this. All right. What did I miss? Hey, Sal's in the house. Speaking of Texas, yes, yes. Hello, hello. I missed Sal's entrance. Jim Main says, hopefully you enjoy it. Yeah, Jim, the basalt, or the fine grained basalt, or something that looks like basalt, dacite, obsidian type stuff. It's awesome. Yeah, that's going to be exciting to see what that looks like after I finish. Knapping it might be a big old pain in the butt, but it should work out well. Marty says, I came to Minnesota to check out the Knapping, but we came to the cities for shopping and our car was stolen. The city is not the place for us country folks. Gonna rent a car and go home now. Dang it. What the heck? Your car was stolen. That's terrible. Hopefully the valuables were not in the car. What else did I miss? Yeah. So there's Sal's entrance, and I need to watch some more of your vids because I haven't been watching. I've been messing around trying to figure out how to do images with AI and then working on back orders. The squirrels are figuring out how to knock on the front door. But what they do is they climb. I hear scamperings now. So I'm breaking up little granola bars and giving it to the squirrels. They love granola bars. Mike Mason says, the last tool I made was with steel and I messed up the temper. It bent like a beer can. Oh, dang. Sal, make your live stream public. It was awesome. Yeah. Yo, fellas. All right. What else did I miss? Mike Tuff says, hey, Sal, I was in the middle of your video when I was rudely interrupted by Patrick's live stream. Yeah, but you know when I'm going to have mine. Yeah. I know you're kidding. Patrick Trousdale, you forgot to hit the like button. Jeff Chin is here. Hey. Okay, where we go here? Where are we going here? Ralph Snyder. Zappa. What does that mean? Zappa. Even as country folk in my yard with private property signs gets. So your stuff gets stolen too, Patrick? Even if you're in the country? Here, I'm glad here the crime rate is like almost zero. Yeah. I think I'm all like clever and lock everything up usually, right? But then sometimes I wake up and I see my front door is not locked, and then I go to the car and the car was not locked. But I don't have to worry. But I'm going, man, how did I forget to lock the front door and the car? Because when I used to live in Texas, we did have to worry about people breaking into our cars. None of them ever got stolen, but people would break into our cars if we accidentally left the door open. They'd cruise the neighborhood and go around and see if the people have their doors open. Yeah, and I caught one of those boogerheads at night one time. Took off running like a bat out of nowhere. But here, no. Let's see. Ken says, I had a lot of fun today with glass. Getting to try an indirect percussion stick taught me a few things about how hard you need to hit, learning how to work and alternate platforms, etc. Yep. Patrick says, I was lucky and got my car back. The thief dropped his wallet. It was in my spare car. Now that's a story. Ken says, I feel like I won't have any good questions to ask until I have more experience. Yeah, but you can say, hey, tell me everything I need to know that I don't know about how to remove a turtleback. Tell me everything I don't know that you think I don't know because I'm new. You can ask questions like that. Or I ask Google, hey Google, where can I find Flint near me? Show me on the map. And sometimes you get lucky and it'll show you Flint near you. uh, Unless you live near Flint, Michigan, then it'll probably send you to that. But yeah, you can ask. Like I asked Google about the Flint, and it worked. Does it? Should I go over there? The answer is no until you know for sure. Don't go anywhere that you're not sure. There's always at least two people watching you at all times, and you can look around and there's nobody in sight, but there's going to be two people watching you. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Ralph, you forgot to hit the like button too. Mike says, I hate thieves. Liars steal the truth. They ain't no better. That is true. Brennan says, it's a shame, man. Drugs and such are tearing kids up. We're barely living through it. Yeah. Glad we have napping, says Bren. Yes. Patrick said Boogerhead. Yeah, I said Boogerhead is one of my favorites. Yeah, I guess I don't say it enough anymore. Yeah. But our pets, the dogs, they were either goobers or boogerheads. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name within 5 seconds or within a fraction of a second, they just boogerhead. And the squirrel, hey, Dad, there's a squirrel in the backyard. Because I would shoot the squirrels in the backyard with the pellet gun. I go, oh, it's another boogerhead. Yeah. I do it because the dogs love to yap at the squirrel and chase it up a tree. So they're all barking at the bottom of the tree, and there's a squirrel up in the top going, all right, I guess I'll wait until they go away. Then I come out and ting, shoot them out of the tree. It comes falling down, and then they fight over the squirrel. So I have to wait until one of them gets it, and then once he's got the squirrel in his mouth, I'll pick him up by the back of the neck, and then I had to pull the squirrel out of his mouth. It was usually the same one, and it was usually Fozzie. We have a dog named Fozzie after Fozzie Bear because he looks all fuzzy. Anyway, Fozzie would get the squirrel, and I would pick up the Fozzie, and he wouldn't let go. And I'd say, let go, and he wouldn't let go. So I had to pull the squirrel. Anyway, after that, I cut the squirrel up right there and feed them pieces of the squirrel, and they loved it. And it was fun. It was good fun. And that happened like at least twice a month. I can't do that here, though. Yeah. I mean, I could, but it's too closed in. There's too many people. Like if I shoot the squirrel and miss by some accident, it could just limp over to the neighbor's yard and plop into the backyard and die there. And then the neighbor would go, oh, what is this? I don't want that to happen. Let's see. Mike Tuff says, public service announcement. I have a short video in my channel. Guess the weight of the egg plus the stand in grams and win a Rosewood Bopper. There you go. Marty says, good thing I ordered some napping tools from Mike Tuff's because some Yahoo in Minneapolis is going to look at my tools in the car and think, what the heck are these? And throw them away. Yeah, it's terrible. Mike says, I will do a short video after the live stream. Patrick Trousdale, $5 super chat. I have an 8-inch rasp with 4 different cutting edges. I found it worked good. Have you ever tried one? Yeah, I have a rasp also, but it's so big that I don't keep it in my toolbox, my tool bag. It's just really long. But yeah, you can use it on antler, on the billets to dress up the billets. It does work well on antler. Yeah, it's not so much on bone, but it works on antler pretty good. Uh, but I like now to use axis deer antler, and the rasp doesn't like axis deer antler that much because axis deer is very dense. It's like a moose antler, but smaller as far as density goes. But yeah, I need to cut that rasp. I got a steel cutting wheel for my Dremel tool recently. Works good. Red Eyed Patriot is here. Michael is here. My dad called every dog he ever seen Joe. Get over here and lay down, Joe. Interesting. Yeah, my go-to name for dogs is Boogerhead. Yeah. Jim Main says napping is the most frustrating thing that I can't get enough of. Isn't that the truth? Bren says, for real, napping was the hobby I picked up to fill my time once I realized I only filled my time with drugs and wanted to stop. So glad I'm not someone stealing cars or getting shot. Yes, yes, exactly. Okay, so I read the public service announcement from Mike Tufts. Let's see here. All right. Keith Callahan's here. Hello, hello. Patrick Trousdale. I was using it as a sanding stone, sort of, to chip edges on my material. I see. Talking about the rasp. Ray Smith is here. I trained squirrel dogs. You trained them. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't train mine. They just naturally went after squirrels, and I probably should have picked up on that earlier and trained them to release the squirrel because they will not release it. Sometimes I used to try to spray them with the hose to get them to release it, but I just figured out that they're so small, they're like little terrier-sized dogs. I can pick them up by the back of the neck, and they're still holding on to the squirrel, and I had to pull the squirrel out. It's so funny. But yeah, they love the squirrel hunting, and they just naturally do it. Bill Henson says, I invented a pencil with an eraser on each end. There's no point to it. Yes, tell the jokes, the dad jokes, whatever kind of jokes you want. Today, it's Friday live stream. You can talk about whatever. Yeah. I'll start napping in about 30 minutes. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm reading the comment section. Ralph says, that's fun, squirrel hunting with dogs. Yes, it is. TJ's new life is here. TJ is here. Hello, you crazy nappers. Hello, TJ. TJ's from Australia. Where are our other internationals? Any in the house? Let me look back. I think that's it. You're the only international in the house? Or they're lurking? Let me see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking back in the chat. I don't see my buddies from the UK. I don't see my buddies from Spain. And where's Poliolit from Poland? It's different. Their time zones prevent them from participating on Friday nights. Yeah. It's like 5 hours difference, right? 5 hours later for those in Europe. So that would mean that it's like 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning. Bren says, if two bats engage in Mortal Kombat, is it considered Mortal Kombat bat or Mortal Bat Combat? Definitely Mortal Bat Combat. Yeah. Bren says, that's one of my That's one from my stupid jokes notes today. Martin Hill is lurking. Hey, you're one of the very few people that will actually admit to lurking. Welcome, Martin. Ralph says, I picked a hell of a night to start eating gum. You're not supposed to eat it. You're just supposed to chew it. Let's see. Ask for Corn is here. Jared, it smells like Updog over here big time. What does that mean? Updog? Marty says, I put my guess in the comment of your video, Mike. I was going to guess 1 gram higher than Sal, but I think he was light on his guess. I kind of like how they used to do it on The Price is Right. Aaron Wilson is here. How tightly are you holding your indirect rod behind the knee? Actually, fairly tight, I suppose. I don't press on it. I just make sure my knee is bent enough. I have, luckily, still muscle mass enough to hold it. Some guys have different anatomy in their calves, I guess, and they can't hold it at all without it slipping. But for some reason, I've got that anatomy that allows me to hold it back there without even trying. It's pretty firm, actually. Even with a thin rod like this, you can't grab it well even with your hand, but for some reason I've never had an issue being able to hold it. And if I can squeeze down on it, but I don't need to. It's very similar to a strap, the amount of holding pressure, but a strap for me is more loose unless I double strap it. Then it gets the same type of firmness. If I have the double strap, because I do sometimes will nap above as a demonstration, like during a nap in, but I've got to double strap it. And what does double strapping mean? Well, there's one strap that goes around the leg like normal, it goes around this side and down below the knee, but then I wrap another one to close it in like this, to make it even tighter and to make this more rigid. And then it works better for me. Yeah. But I never had an issue with holding it behind my knee. And that seems to be one of the main drawbacks to that technique. Some people can't do it. Let's see here. Jim Main says, did you go through the whole package yet or just that part on the last live? No, I went through the whole package. I did an hour and a half on your box, Jim. Just before this live stream, there's an hour and a half video. I'll show you. I know you don't need to be shown, but I'll show you anyway because I'm like that. This is the thumbnail for the video that I uploaded. It says unboxing and testing Nap Easy. Here's the Nap Easy. Yes, it's from the Nap Easy stuff from Ryan Gill or Hunt Primitive. Yeah, I napped it and I liked it. He likes it. Yeah. But this is your stuff, Jim. One of them. It's I can't remember what it's called. Jefferson City. I napped a bunch of your Jefferson City. I napped the what it looked like fine grained basalt. You also had some Flint River from Georgia. You had a big old chunk of mahogany obsidian that I pretty much blew apart. And that sort of thing. Yeah, I did the whole box, everything. Keith Callahan says, I emailed you about a week ago or 2 ago about using a light behind the white container like a Miracle Whip bowl to show off your transparent points. Did you give it a try yet? No, I haven't given it a try, but I know it's going to work. Yeah, it's a good idea. I never buy Miracle Whip or Cool Whip, right? Did you say Cool Whip or Miracle Whip? Yeah, I never buy that kind of container, but I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, that's a good idea because it provides a nice neutral white background that has indirect lighting, and yeah, everything shows up well. I saw that email. Yes, I did. Let's see. So Jared's not doing much. He's just chilling. Yeah, like the rest of us. Um, Patrick says, I forgot to grab a broken grinding wheel from work, so that's why I tried sliding the wraps. In a fast motion, you would be surprised how much it chips off. Yeah. There was also a piece of a grinding wheel in Jim Maine's um, box, the unboxing. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see if I missed anything back in the chat. So hold on. Yeah. Yep. I read that. Okay, I read that. Okay, someone asked a question. I'm missing it. Where is it? Uh, So somebody asked a question, and I don't see it because Keith Callahan says, "Good question. I was going to ask the same question. Which question is it?" Mike says, "I'm going to write that down on a piece of paper because I don't see your reply showing up." Yeah. Let's see. What did I miss? Oh yeah, I was using a Mike Tuff's bopper again in the last video, and I popped the epoxy glue on it again. Yeah. Um, yeah. So I abused that bopper a lot. Apparently. Brennan says, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner." I say, 1,300 grams. Says Jared. 1,300 grams. That's a lot. Mike Tuff says you're not allowed to use AI for guessing. Yeah, don't cheat. Brennan says, let's not count our epoxy resin eggs before they hatch, though. Yeah. Artist Breaks Rock is here. Hello. Good to see you. Awesome. I watch your videos. Awesome stuff. Oh yeah, I was asking Grok some questions today. It's getting dumber again. It goes in cycles, and there's version 4 now, and the version 4 is good at analyzing stuff. But if you just ask a generic question about current events, it's getting dumber than it used to be. It's being manipulated. So they come out with a new version. It's pretty smart, and then I think a bunch of people attack it and manipulate it, and it gets dumber. On AI, with Grok anyway. But it's still very good at analyzing. Like if you input something, you can ask it to analyze it and check it for logical consistency or any suggestions on what did I miss, or can you summarize this because I'm having a hard time summarizing it, that kind of thing. It's good at that. Brennan says, Patrick, let him guess. Hi. Oh, I'm not supposed to be talking about the guesses. Mike Tuff says, something happened the other day with either Grok or AI, and some Hitler thing came up, and they had to shut it down. Yeah, I think I heard something about that because I saw another commenter mention something that if you give AI free reign, it's going to start talking about expanding the Reich or something like that. So I think that alludes to what happened with AI, as you were just saying. But no, I think it just gets attacked by lots of bots and people on certain issues and certain topics, especially stuff that's politicized, that's in the news. It just gets manipulated with thousands of comments that input the same thing. So Grok just kind of imitates what has been input into the conversation online. Patrick asks, what is your smallest bopper? Do you have one you would consider a pencil bopper, half-inch copper cap? Yeah, I do have a really tiny half-inch copper cap bopper. Mike Tufts gave me one, right? Mike, I used to have little ones from a different site, and I sold those. But I don't like using the small boppers. I'll just use a bigger one. That way I don't have to keep changing them. And the smallest one I use is a 6 ounce. If I go any smaller than a 6 ounce bopper, I find that I'm changing boppers too often and it just drives me nuts. So I just keep a 6 ounce and 8 ounce, and I use those primarily for everything. If I need another heavy one, I'll use a 14 ounce. So I have three that I use primarily: 6, 8, or 6 and 9, or 5 and 8. Depends. Sometimes they vary. I go through boppers quite fast, so they vary in weights. But it's usually 5 and 9, or 6 and 9, or 5 and 8, or 6 and 8, and then sometimes 12. Mm-hmm. Artist Breaks Rock says, thanks. I always watch yours. Very nice. I'm glad. I'm always glad to hear that because sometimes I'm saying, why am I doing these videos over and over, the same thing over and over and over? And then I always get reminded that there are new people and there are people that are just barely starting, right? They may not be new to the channel, but they're just now starting napping and all that kind of stuff. So they want to see new content, even if it's the same old, same old. Oh, okay. Keith says, Patrick, the question was when Aaron asked you about how tight you held a bopper behind your leg. Let's see. It says on my phone, we detect that your network quality is poor, which may impact your streaming experience. So let me know if there's a problem with the streaming. It just gave me a message. Let me dismiss it. Can I dismiss it? Ah. Now I don't have that big old yellow stripe across the top of my phone. Ross Wellman says, I use a small bungee cord as a Kelly strap. There you go. I use the Kelly straps because they're free. Yeah. Oh, dang, I missed a lot of the chat. Let's see. Patrick Trousdale, how do you weigh your bopper? Do you measure the weight by the lead you add or total weight? Total weight with a scale, a kitchen scale. You know, the ones you use for measuring your ingredients. Scott Lauer's here. He is here. Scott Lauer's from the UK. It's very late for you, isn't it, Scott? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. I'm trying to catch up with the chat here. What I'm going to do is, starting in the next hour, at the top of the hour, I'm going to start napping. So I want to make sure I catch up with the chat. Brennan says they are over spamming it with other AI systems until it changes its way of thinking. These are our new world problems. Okay, so that probably happens where one AI will spam another AI. Yeah. Users use AI to create many personalities, I guess, and many comments. It changes the narrative. But if you wait like a week and then ask AI the same question, it'll give you a different answer. It'll give you the better answer. So, which is kind of a bummer. But you will get the general gist of the news coming up as it comes up very fast. But it's going to be wrong. You're going to get news immediately, but it's going to be wrong. But if you look it up again in a week to get the full story, you can usually get the accurate full story, which will be different. Not only because they have new information, but because it won't have a lot of political spamming going on. Because there was a time, especially around the tariff issue, where AI was being spammed with false tariff information. And you're only going to see it as false if you do international shipping like I do. And you ask Grok about this kind of stuff, and why are you giving me the wrong answer? You can actually ask Grok, why are you giving me the wrong answer? And it says, oh, I apologize. I'm using the latest information and what is commonly understood about tariffs in this case. And I said, well, I'm asking you specific questions on the news right now. I don't want to know general information and stuff that is not relevant to my specific question. So I got it to bypass that spamming that obviously happened to give me an answer on a specific question in the news. I don't remember what the specific question was, but it had the tariff thing all wrong. But I looked it up again later, like 2 weeks later, and it was correct as far as that goes. So just FYI, I don't know. Maybe I'm the last one to know this. Yeah, dude. Everybody knows that if you look it up right away, you want the news right away, you're going to get wrong information right away. Yeah. But I didn't know that. I thought, since Grok has been, or ex Twitter has been heralded as the great news outlet, I thought that they would be up on current events in an accurate way. But no, it's not. Let's see here. So JF Baird has a 3.7 ounce bopper as the smallest. That's pretty small. I had a 2 ounce, but I tried using it, but it's something that might save time for some people. Like I can see what it'll save time on smaller objects and obsidian, but I just tend to get lazy, I suppose, and just use one bopper mainly for the small stuff and the medium stuff, and then one bopper for everything else that's bigger. Sal says, if someone wins the guess on Patrick's live stream, I'm going to be the first to say that it didn't count. In case you don't know, I think Mike Tufts is running a contest right now on his channel. If you guess the correct weight of whatever, you'll win something. But I've been reminded not to say much because it's cheating. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I usually measure, to answer the question on weight of boppers, I weigh the whole thing because usually it has a wooden handle and it has a weighted lead tip. So the wooden handle is almost negligible as far as weight goes. Now, if it's a steel pipe, I've made some boppers from steel pipes, then it does matter that the handle is included. Yeah. How does it matter? The weight forward bopper is a little bit easier to handle than the non-weighted forward bopper. How is it easier? I always get these questions about, okay, like on a nap-in. It's hard to explain, but the weight forward boppers swing better. Yeah. Although most of the time I don't swing the bopper, but when you have to have some extra speed, you swing it, and it makes it easier when you've got a weight forward bopper. Let's see. Uh-oh, I missed some chat. Yeah. Mike Tuff says, I will ship overseas, so please put in your guess, except I have to call it something different because of the handle. Ah. Let's see here. Patrick says, AI has gone too far with drones, in my opinion. I had dreams of this back in the 80s. Scott says, Pat, I got asked for samples of bullhead today by a Dutch lab. They want its chemical signature to compare to artifacts recovered from the sea floor off the Dutch coast. Ancient Doggerland. Very cool. Yes, very cool. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, I'm almost caught up with the chat. I'm going to start napping here in a few minutes. Let's see. Someone's been drinking? Someone's drinking on a live stream and smoking? What's going on? Let's see. Mike says, I'm sitting here staring at 2 inches of Allen's cigar that I had left, and I'm going to use that as a wrap. Hey, Smallzilla, Harley is asking a question. Have you ever attempted one of those wacky twisted points? Like one of those that has the extreme bevel to it? I saw a photo of one today, and it blew my mind. Yeah, just look up Jack Crafty Pandale. That's as twisty as I get. I don't like to do the exaggerated twist. But yeah, just look up Jack Crafty Pandale. Pandale, Pandale. Yeah, I even have the flaking going the correct way. Pandales are done with a weird type of flaking. The direction of the flaking, anyway. Yeah. Let's see. What else did I miss? But yeah, if I put my mind to it, I could probably make a really twisty point. It just takes a long time. It's like one of those things where it takes forever to do it. Like doing one of those Cody complex points, like an Eden or a Scott's Bluff takes forever. These really, really twisty Pandales take forever. In other words, it's not fun because the journey is not something I enjoy. So the longer I'm at the journey, the more misery there is. Let's see here. People are smoking stuff. JF Baird says, I use crepe myrtle for my handles on the boppers, I assume, right? Or on the tools. Patrick, I have not seen your reply yet. Make a guess. Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't see the post. I mean, I don't know what to guess. Sal says, Patrick, I think one of the last artifacts I sent you had a twist in it. Yeah, slight twist. Yeah, alternately beveled on the tip, right? I need to look at the stuff again. I got it right there. Yes. Yeah, I got two artifacts right. There's a table back here, and I got Sal's artifacts there. Questions. I need more questions so I can start napping. I can answer the questions and then start napping. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what to guess, Mike, as far as a weight on that. Okay. Harley also asks, Patrick, I got some good stuff coming your way. Your napping space is going to have some sweet new decorations. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Ken says, I've been trying not to get too baked when I nap, but I'm a weak man. It's medicinal for me also. Dang, I cannot nap very well when impaired like that. Once in a while, I'll be drinking with my buddies during a nap, and yeah, it takes the edge off, especially if it gets frustrating. It's like, oh well. But no, it's a little bit challenging. Yeah. Let's see here. Ken says, I saw Kanzi, the Flintknapping chimpanzee video for the first time yesterday. It blew my mind. I don't know if I ever seen that one. Scott says he's going to bed. Good night, Scott. He's from the UK. He should go to bed. It's late. Artist Breaks Rock asks me, what material are you working today? I believe it's Indiana hornstone. I'll be working on this in about 2 minutes. Yeah. And if that doesn't work, I think I'm going to break into some of this alabates. Little chunky pieces, both of them, chunky pieces. Because it's cheating if I start with a biface. Yeah. Besides, you can't see the small details. So it's better if I just work the first stage from, rock to biface. That's what I've been doing mainly. Question asks Ralph, can you nap amethyst? That I don't know, actually. I don't know. If it's got enough silica in it, it can be napped. Look up to see how much silica amethyst has. If it doesn't have any silica, then I would say no. Oh, yeah. Taking ibuprofen or some kind of painkiller before napping is actually a good idea. Just don't mix it with drinking. All right. Interesting question about amethyst. That's my birthstone, says Ken. Mine is garnet, I believe. And I think garnet is nappable. Brennan says, I'm looking forward to the napping tonight. This discussion has been a good one. Good fuel for the mind for a pre-nap workup. Awesome. So when I start napping, I'm not going to be looking at the chat. I'm going to start napping here in a minute. And you'll have to talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, amethyst. Patrick says, I think amethyst is a quartz and too small unless you have a big crystal. Yeah. All right. So you can nap quartz crystal, the clear stuff. And maybe amethyst is very similar. All right. So let's start napping. Yeah. Indiana hornstone. I believe that's what this is. Okay. Some of my favorite stuff. If you want to know what my favorite stuff is, it's the black butter obsidian. After that, it's all the high-grade heat treats. After that, is the high grade raw. After that is all the obsidians. After that is everything else, because it's all equally a pain in the butt after that. Even the hard, really, really hard stuff, it's pretty much in the same range. Once you get away from the top 5 stuff, as far as I'm concerned, I have my top 5 favorites. But as soon as you drop off those, you drop off a lot, and everything's pretty much the same level. Like my top 5 are way up here, then everything drops down to base level. Pretty much everything else is a pain in the butt. Yeah. That's the way I see it. I don't care how you see it. Unless you ask me a question, then I'll try to answer. Yeah. I'll try to be honest, though. Did I not? Oh, yeah. Jim gave me another really coarse abrader. You're not napping. You're just kind of goofing around, dude. Okay, I'm going to start napping. Yeah, I'm just goofing around. That's true. I'm looking for my favorite bopper, but I don't see it. Is this it? I think this is it. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is my heavier one. All right, so I do have it. Here we go. Lots of cortex on this one. So I've got to get used to this. Let's see what it's going to take. This cortex is easy to nap. Yeah, I can get blades. That's sweet. And anything that's similar to hornstone seems to be good for making long flakes that feather out on a relatively flat surface. So someone might say, "You mean you can make a Cumberland?" Yeah, I think that's why they were made that way, because it was with that particular type of stone. It's actually easy to run long, flat flakes, but it has to be a particular type of stone to be easy. And the hornstone seems to be one of those that it's easy to run longer flakes without having to use a tremendous amount of pressure, like on a jig. You can probably create those long Cumberland style flutes with percussion instead of a pressure jig. That one. These pieces are flying everywhere. Who made me nap this? Whose big idea was it? I'm going to have to be extra careful vacuuming up this stuff later. Flying everywhere. Why aren't you abrading, dude? Because I don't need to. Yeah, that's why. Unless it starts crushing really bad. I don't need to abrade. Not during this stage. Yoch, I took a little bit too much. Yeah, see, I started getting... The accuracy is not that great, although it's a good bopper. I took too much off. I scooped it. But it's still a size that I like to work with. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. Some people might get frustrated with me because they want me to maximize everything. I try to. But it's just unnecessary stress. Yeah. So can you see what I'm doing? Probably not. But it's too bad. You'll have to watch my other videos where you can see up close. You're just going to have to watch my other videos. But like I always say, with this view, you can, break out your angleometers and get the angles perfect. Right? Right. Get out your angleometers, and then once you know the angles, you'll be able to nap like an expert. That's all it is, right? All you got to do is know the angles, right? That's what people seem to think. Mm-hmm. Eventually you'll go, no, I know what you're doing. Being sarcastic. Yeah. I'm being sarcastic. My angles are not your angles, and your angles are not my angles. I don't mess with your angles. You don't mess with my angles, okay? That's how I roll. I'm not going to tell you exactly. I'm not even going to try to know the angles exactly, because everyone's slightly different. Now, if I see you at a nap-in and you ask me, can you tell me if I'm doing it wrong? I'll just watch to see what you're doing. 9 times out of 10, you're not doing it wrong. It all looks the same, just with subtle, almost imperceptible differences between a beginner and an expert. It looks all the same. Yeah. With just slight differences that are not really perceptible watching it on video. You got to learn by doing it. And this is napping well, but my accuracy is not that good, so I end up crushing it like that on the tip. Unfortunately. Yeah, if I was a little bit smarter, I wouldn't be using the bopper at this stage and just switch over to indirect percussion when I need accuracy. Yeah, but I'm just going to go as far as I can with the bopper and then switch over. Some guys are very good at thinning with the bopper. I'm not that good at it. No. 2 reasons. One, I don't want to become good at it because it wastes a lot of material in learning. And number 2, I don't need to. I don't want to. I don't need to because I got indirect percussion. But some people want to see it because that's how they want to do it. They go, no, I don't want to use indirect percussion for thinning as far as possible. I want to use a bopper for that. Okay, fine. Doesn't matter. I told you everybody's different. I told you. I warned you. Don't say I didn't warn you that people are different. Yes. And they're different with the angles too. Yeah. I had this one guy that tried to nap exactly like me and he couldn't do it. It didn't do it. It's not doing it. I said, well, don't nap like me then. Don't do it this way. If it's not going to do it, don't do it. Simple. Yeah. And he said, oh, look, you make it look so easy. Yeah. I get that a lot. I want it to look easy when I do it too. Yeah. I get that a lot too. It takes a lot of torture to get to the point where you make it look easy. I went through a lot of torture. Self-torture, yeah. But that's, when you get into this kind of activity, something that has a lot of risk involved, you're asking for trouble. So don't say you haven't been warned. This is a skill that's a little bit different because of the element of risk involved and the element of luck. We sometimes rely on luck very heavily in flint knapping. Yeah. And in the past as well. You can tell. Oh, shucks. So far, I'm at the stage where I finished the first stage. I'm at the point where I finished the first stage of just bifacing it from the nodule or the spall, in this case, to the preliminary biface. This is the first stage. Because after this, you start to feel the tension and more of a risk of crushing the edges because they're getting thinner, more of a risk of snapping the whole thing in half, more of a risk of, losing the shape. You can install a curve easily. You can blow out one side and lose a symmetry. And you don't have room to fix it because it's starting to get thin. And with indirect percussion, I forgot to grind this or abrade it extra specially. Or how should I say it? I forgot to grind it more, abrade it more, and I got a crush right there, right where I'm not supposed to get it. That's going to hurt because it's going to reduce the width. But I suppose it's okay because this cortex on this side, I got to get rid of that. It's very chalky. Even though it is nappable, it's still chalky and it's not going to sharpen up very well. So I've got to take that side off. So luckily, that crush right there is on this side that I got to remove. So I'll be able to get that out of there. But it's nasty. That's a mistake on my part. Because this material is really nice. And I did not abrade it enough. When you don't abrade it enough, the edge cannot handle the amount of force you're using. And it can't support the type of flake you want. You've got to have enough support as far as the striking area support, not support and holding it, like, you know what I mean? But the striking area has to be strong enough to support the flake that's being removed. If not, the striking area will collapse. Yeah. Just like that. It collapsed because I tried to remove this lump from an area that wasn't strong enough to support the flake that's supposed to go over that lump. So it just smashed it. That's what not to do. But I braided it a lot. Well, there's some of it that came out. So it did do something. It just didn't do it right. Yeah. So more and more abrading. Okay. And yes, you can abrade too much sometimes. What happens when you abrade too much? You won't be able to remove the flake. You'll be sitting there. Psh, psh. Why isn't it coming off? It's because you abraded too much. The edge can't be too strong because you won't get the flake to remove. You'll just be hitting it over and over again. In case you didn't know. So what I'm doing is trying to thin it and shape the outside. I'm taking opportunistic flakes My style is opportunistic, so I don't prepare specific areas to hit. I just kind of remove the weak spots and let the resulting shape determine where I hit. If it looks like a good place to hit, after removing all the weak spots, that's where I'm going to hit. Yeah. You can see it better in a close-up first-person view. In most of my videos, I'm not this far away. That's what I like. At this stage, that's what I want. I want these coast-to-coast style flakes. Why? Because it makes everything smoother. And back in the day, they liked those as well because it makes things smoother and it makes it easier to remove flakes. When it starts to get thinner, you don't want a bunch of lumps and step fractures. As it starts to get thinner, or waves, you don't want waves. This material is good because it doesn't produce many waves. Yeah. A wavy surface is almost as bad as a step fractured surface. An excessively wavy surface. Little waves don't matter, but if it's excessively wavy, yeah, it makes a difference. Someone was asking earlier about how hard do I hold it? How firm do I hold it? It's pretty firm, but it does get loose, and I have to readjust. Yeah, it gets loose as it starts to exit the joint or exit the. I had to put it right up against whatever the back of my knee. If it starts slipping away from the back of my knee, that's when it gets loose. I have to push it up against the back of my knee. But all I need to do is sit low enough to where it clamps. I don't even think about it. I used to put my foot on something to raise it up while I was sitting in a normal chair. But now I just sit low on a low item. This is a little bin. I think I measured it once. It's like 11 inches tall. Some people can't sit this low because it hurts their hips or back or something. I get it. So you'll need to put the strap on the flake or nap on top of your leg so you can sit up higher, both in terms of upright with your back, and then your knees will not be as bent. They'll be, the normal sitting position in a chair. I've learned to nap this way all crouched over. But yeah, it's not good for my posture. I do get a sore back easily this way. But, oh well. It stops me from napping all day because I've done that before. 12 hours. I can go for long stretches of napping if I'm not in pain. Yeah. But it starts to wear out. It starts to wear me out and I get burnt out. Yeah. So I nap about twice. I have 2 heavy napping days a week. I nap 4 days a week. Usually, and more now with back orders. But two heavy days where I'm napping more than 5 hours that day. If I nap more than 5 hours, that's a heavy day. On a light day, it's like 2 or 3 hours. I can't be napping forever either. I don't want to be napping when I'm 80. I want to be doing something else. But in the meantime, I can't be burning myself out. So I'm taking it a little bit slow. No, I'm not supposed to do that. It's harder to nap through this lighter area, but I kind of like the way that looks. And it's okay as far as nappability, this lighter area. As it gets closer to the darker area, it gets more and more easily sharpened. The density changes. So yeah, I'm going to catch up with the chat here. At 9:45, I'll get back to the chat. Yeah. So if you have a question and I miss it, try to ask it again when I get back to the chat in about 20 minutes. Yeah. I didn't put much food out for the skunks yet. They're going to go, "What's up, dude? We're all fighting for this little bit." What I do is I feed the cat that comes around. Her name's Louise. And when she's done for the day, she disappears at night. I just toss the rest of the cat food out into the lawn, and the skunks come and get the rest of it. But they eat that up pretty fast. I got to dump another bowl of cat food out there. And I didn't put out the second bowl. So they're probably going, "What's up, dude? What is up?" They're funny because they'll come out and they'll eat, and they might fight each other for position. It's not bad fights, but you can hear the squealing. And they'll eat up the food pretty quickly. And they'll walk around the house, and then no food. They'll go back in the woods and walk around and come back to the house. I've seen them. They just walk around. They walk around, come back, walk around, come back. Finally, I'll put food out. I can just hear them. "Finally, I've been walking around for hours, and you finally put it out." Yeah, I know, but you need the exercise, dude. All my skunks around here are getting fat. Yeah. So maybe I should just wait until much later to put the food out. Because you need the exercise, dude. I need the exercise myself. I haven't been exercising. I got my gym membership and everything, but I still haven't exercised enough. I need the exercise too. I took a bite out of the side. See that bite? That means the edge is getting really thin. So I've got to be less aggressive with the strikes. Yeah. I don't want to be less aggressive because then I won't be able to get big flakes. All right, so what I got so far is this. I've just been thinning it. I don't know if you can see the contours. Yeah. Let's see. Is it? Okay, let me see. That way? How can I show it? I need to see the flake scars. There we go. Put it in front of my face so it comes into focus. So it's really good material. It's just there's step fractures and stuff in it because I'm doing preliminary shaping. I'm not doing the final finishing until later. Now, some guys will be trying to do perfect flakes from start to finish. I find that that's not necessary unless you're doing something like an Eden or Scottsbluff or something that has parallel flaking that requires perfect flaking all the way through. With most archaic points, they're kind of wonky. They got step fractures in them, and the surfaces are not perfect on most archaic points, and some of the paleo as well. And that's the way I like to knap because it's less stressful and less tedious. So you'll see, even with excellent material, you'll still see that I messed up because I'm not really focused on being perfect throughout the whole process. But when it comes to the final finishing, there's a definite stage transition for me from preliminary shaping to final finishing. It's a different stage where if you were being perfect the whole way through, there's no differentiation between the stages. It's just getting smaller and thinner and smaller and thinner and smaller and thinner, and then finally finishing up with fancy flaking. Me, it gets smaller and thinner, yeah, but it gets a little bit wonky. And then the final finishing for me is a lot of damage control, where I got to make it not wonky anymore with big flakes, not small little tedious persnickety perfectly parallel flakes. Although I am learning that style as well. I prefer a more random style with some imperfections and some asymmetry. I just think it not only looks better, but it's less of a pain in the butt for me. Some people, they think it's more of a pain in the butt to do something that doesn't look perfect because it destroys their something in their brain goes, oh, I feel like I want to throw up if it's not perfect at every stage. Yeah. Not me. I'm the opposite. If I have to do too much work in every stage, that's when I feel like throwing up. Yeah. I got to pace myself. If I'm doing a Scots bluff or an Eden, I've got to pace myself, make sure I don't start thinking about the tediousness. If it starts feeling too tedious, I gotta say, okay, that's it. I'm gonna stop. I'll come back to it in a little bit. Yeah. Starting to burn me out, so I'll come back to it in a little bit. Take a little break. Now, what about, ADHD and the intense focus for hours and hours and hours? Yeah, I could, but it burns me out, like I was saying. Sometimes I don't mind spending hours and hours doing something tedious, as long as it's easy. Yeah, I've been known to sit there, and when I used to work at a shop at the University of Texas, we were designing scenery for plays and stuff. They would have me cut out many of the same size of whatever. Sometimes they were building an architectural looking mock-up in the background, and I had to cut out like pieces for a window that they're making with, they looked like they had lots of panes of glass in it, let's say, as an example, and you had to cut out the rectangular pieces, and then they would nail them all together. They would have me sit there and make dozens and dozens of these rectangular things as an example. And I could do that because it's easy for hours or for the whole day. I worked there for 4 hours a day. I could sit there for 4 hours and cut out the same shape over and over and over. But if it's easy, then it's not a problem. But if it's like this, where there's risk involved and unpredictability, and variations in the material itself. So you never know what's going to happen. It's very stressful, especially if you want to make something for someone that has to be done in a certain way, a certain size, and what I call it to spec. It's very, very stressful because you fail sometimes to meet the spec. So you got to start over, and then you may not have the material. And if you don't have the material, you got to order it, and you got to wait for it. It gets put on a back burner, and other stuff gets prioritized. But you still have that one in your brain. When am I going to get to it? I don't know, because stone hasn't come in. And sometimes when the stone comes in, you go, awesome. That's the stone I'm looking for. And you start napping it, and you're going, it's not doing it. The stone is not what I expected. Not like last time. So you call the supplier and said, it's not like the last time. And I don't call them anymore because it's to be expected. It's natural material. If it's not like last time, it's like, yeah, you know that. This might not be consistent. Yeah. You learn after a while that, it's just one of those things. But it's stressful. So moral of the story is, I don't like to spend long hours doing this. If it was easy, maybe. And sometimes certain things about napping are easy. For me, the first stage from nodule to biface is the easiest. I can go about it in many ways as well. I could take shortcuts and such by not abrading, for example, because I don't need to. If I don't have to, I'm not going to do it. It might look cruddy during the first stage because I'm not abrading enough. Oh well. I'll do the damage control later. It's easier for me to do damage control than to be sitting there trying to make it perfect from start to finish. Yeah. Like right now, I'm doing damage control. Trying to flatten it, remove lumps, make it straighter. Get rid of if there's an area that looks like there's too many flakes or it looks too flakery, I'll take a big flake through there if I can. Make it less flakery. Sometimes I can't always do it. But when I can, I will. At the last stage. This is the finishing stage right now, as far as the thickness. But the final sharpening and the final cosmetic flaking happen after this stage. And I'm abrading this because these next flakes are more important than the ones before, so I cannot have anything going wrong with the flaking tool because it loses energy. If there's too much pitting or debris or it's off as far as the roundness, it affects the flaking. That lighter area is going to give me trouble. Mm-hmm. Come on. It's too flakery right there. You got to Give me some slack. Let me drive a big flake through there. It's not doing it. And this is supposed to be the good side. But I'm getting a lot of chatter. Can't see. But that lower edge, all along that lower edge, I'm getting a lot of chatter on the surface. So I don't know what it is. It could be me, or it could be the material, or the lack of, me means lack of preparation. But also if I'm not comprehending what I need to be doing. Sometimes I think I know what I should do, but I'm not comprehending what I need to be doing. Or I'm not reading the stone right. What's going on? It's amplifying my mistakes. Yep. That's what's going on. Let me try the file. The file might be a better solution than the coarse abrader. Yeah, probably is. Yeah. Maybe so. I just like the coarse abrader because it's fast. But the file, usually works better. The diamond file. I can put more of a flat, angled edge on it. Sometimes, well, most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't matter. In this case, it is mattering. It does matter. Yeah. So I managed to flake or undo the flakery. So that's that side. I do have a little bit of stepping in the center. Let me put it in front of my face. But see this, they're still stepping in the center slightly. But I can pick that out probably. Yeah. I can probably pick that out with a spatula looking tool. And the other side is pretty flat. It still has, the terminations are still slightly steppy, but not too bad. And it's thin enough to sharpen and to make whatever point I want. Okay? So what's the ratio and the size and all that? I don't know. Can you see you can't see the flake scars very well because of the darkness of the material, probably. Anyway, you can see how rough the edges are right now. But I can pressure flake that edge straight and sharp from this stage. Okay? So let me pick out the step fracture. You can see that better in a regular video where it's close up. I got to make sure I don't put a metal mark like I just did. If I scratch across the surface, it puts a metal mark. Yeah, I got metal marks. Oh, well. That's one drawback of trying to pick those out. Those steps in the middle, they're still there, but they're not as pronounced. I picked out a bunch of it. All right, so what's the ratio? I bet you about 6-1. That's usually what I end up with. All right, let's see. It's 40 3 millimeter by 6 millimeter thick by 43. That's 7-1. So, and that's because the material is good. Yeah. The better the material, the better the results are in general. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. 7-1 is good. A little bit better than my average. And I like the way it looks. As far as the flake scar. The flake scarring, I wish I could figure out how to do this better. Like that. Yeah. See the big, I like big flakes, big bold flakes, even if they might not terminate well, even if they're not parallel or in sequence. I like random big flakes. And then I'll sharpen it from here. Okay. Yeah. I just pressure flake the sharpness. I'll get to the chat here in a minute. Yeah. I'm gonna take some pressure flakes here. I can't see very well. With this light, it makes it so that the movement is more clear. It doesn't blur, but I can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, it's crushing. Yeah, like that. Okay. This stuff needs a lot of abrading. Yeah. Funny how that works. Seems the high grade stuff needs to be abraded quite a bit. I don't know. At least with this stuff. Can't see, huh? Oh well. Yeah, I'm just going to sharpen the tip and show you what it looks like. And then that's it. I'll call it good for the video. It's not going to be finished, but I'll call it good for the video. Where's my sharper one? Yeah. I like to say that there's two types of pressure. There's aggressive pressure and passive pressure. Aggressive is you just blast off the flake with pressure and it'll remove it. But passive, you put the flaker on the edge and then press it, slowly building up more pressure until it releases on its own. I find it more advantageous to do the final pass with passive pressure. That might seem obvious, but I've seen a lot of guys use aggressive pressure through the whole thing. or passive pressure through the whole thing. And I tend to break it up. Into stages where I only use the passive at the end. But with the Cody style, like with Edens and stuff, I've got to use passive pressure a lot. Even in the development stages of the preform, because it gives you a lot more control when it comes to doing the same thing over and over again. If it's passive, it's easier to repeat the last action. Where is it? I put it down, I lose the pressure flaker that I'm looking for. There it is. No, not like that. Premature flakeration. It's crushing. But one of the problems is I can't see. It's already 9:48. Oh no. I can't see anything. Okay, so that's what it looks like when I sharpen the tip. It's tapered this way and that way, obviously. But I can do, if I put my mind to it, I can do sequential flaking on the tip fairly easily. But the tips are hard for me to do. A lot of times I end up with step fractures near the tip. For some reason, I don't know why. I like the way the Indiana hornstone looks as far as the flake scarring. There is a step fracture there. I can probably remove that with another flake from the other side. Yeah, but it's not too deep. The lighting makes it accentuated. But anyway, there you go. Let's see, where am I? Let's get back to the chat. So Sal has left. Mary's here. I missed your entrance. Let's see. Sal's got to go. I'll see you later, Sal. Peace out. This was 9:47, which was 2 minutes ago. Okay. All right, so ask questions before the end of the live stream. It ends in 10 minutes. If you do have questions. If not, it's okay. Let me see. Let's see. Where is Ralph going? Everyone's saying goodbye to Ralph like he's never going to be back. Oh, I didn't guess on the Mike Tufts contest. Oh, well. Let's see here. Bren says, nice biface, Pat. That was a nice big piece, but you always know how to maximize a stone. Mike Tufts likes it too. Cool. There was a lot of cortex on it, so just as an excuse why it got so small, there was lots of cortex. Yeah. It was also kind of chunky. Mike says, Blue Ocean Picture Stone. We need to nap it, Patrick. How are we going to make it happen? Blue Ocean Picture Stone. I don't know. I don't know how to make that happen. Aaron Wilson is leaving. Have a great night. All righty. We'll see you. See you later, Aaron. Good to see you. Let's see. Ferdo Joe, what did I miss? You missed the whole thing. I was napping some Indiana hornstone. Mary says it's a nice piece. Thank you, thank you. Mike Tuff, Mary, you need to guess the weight of an epoxy resin egg plus the stand. I put a short video in my channel. Yeah, I haven't even looked at it. I apologize. I probably won't be able to get to it. Tommy Taylor says, well, I made it back before the live stream is over. Yeah, barely. You got 9 minutes. Yeah, Bushy's here for the last 10 minutes, says Ralph. Yep. You're Bushy, you and I are here at the same time zone. I don't know how you mixed it up. Vince, could you do a focused episode on Jasper from heat treating to napping? I haven't had good luck with Jasper yet. That's because your Jasper's probably not good. Yeah. Can I do a focused episode with nothing but Jasper? Yeah, but it's going to be different than your Jasper. I mean, I could. I'm trying to think. Have I done one? I've napped Jasper quite a bit. Let me think. I've got a lot of new pieces of Jasper from friends of mine that are already heat treated. My suggestion is heat treat experimentally starting at 350 degrees Fahrenheit to heat treat the Jasper. 350 Fahrenheit, and make sure you have a temperature gauge that's separate from the heating that you're doing, the heating device. Like if you have a turkey roaster for heat treating, make sure you screw in a temperature gauge. I've got a video on it, at least 2 videos on that, to give you an accurate reading of the temperature. Start with a heat treat at 350 degrees for your first attempt, and then try napping it. If that doesn't work, then go to 400. If that doesn't work, go to 450. If that doesn't work, go to 500 if you're able to. Sometimes what looks like Jasper is not Jasper, and it will never respond to heat. Sometimes Jasper doesn't respond unless you cook it at a very high temperature. But it should respond at around 400 for 4 hours. Sometimes it takes 12 hours, so you can experiment with that too. I suggest just experimenting rather than me trying to make a series on that type of thing and then put all the back orders on hold so no one gets their stuff while I'm trying to work on this one video series. It's difficult for me to work on a specific thing that requires a lot of time. It's not difficult. It's just it delays everything that I'm doing. So my suggestion to you is you have to experiment more. I know that's not really good. Alan Cole says, thanks for the awesome live stream, Patrick. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody, yes. When the live stream is ended, asks Mike, I'll wait about 5 minutes to make sure that I've seen all the comments, and then I'll do a short video on the winner. Then I'll send out a bopper. Awesome. Brennan says, Jasper seems so variable, even just American. It will be interesting to hear Patrick try. Yeah. I probably won't do it because it'll take me a week to get the Jasper, which I do have some, set up my heat treat, which I haven't set up yet, even though I have everything. I just haven't assembled. I've got the temperature gauge separate from my new turkey roaster. I haven't insulated the lid, but I've got it set out to everything is ready for me to do the heat treats. And then once I get it done, I've got to make sure that I'm heat treating it to the correct temperature, and then do some napping, make sure I preserve some pieces for video, and then make sure I keep proper notes, and then do more than one heat treat. That way I can say that, well, this jasper is different from this jasper, and this heat treat ended up being different than that one. And even with the same nodule, these different pieces heat treated at different temperatures to the same consistency. Basically, I'm looking for a waxy, glossy jasper. It's a long process. Yeah. 4 minutes left in the live stream. So, but that's a good question on the heat treating. I just won't be able to do it. Yeah, I apologize. I do have videos on Knapping jasper. I don't think I have a dedicated series on it. Where am I? Vince says, perfect. Thank you. Good point on the temperature gauge. Yeah, make sure you have one separate from the gauge on your device. The gauge on the device is not going to work well in my experience. So I'm glad it was helpful. I was feeling like I wasn't helping at all. Ross Wellman says, well, good night, everybody. I have been freezing up, off, and on. Good night. Okay, we'll see you next time, Ross. Let's see. Ray Smith asks me, do you ever work any Tennessee rock? Yeah. I mean, there's Fort Payne, right? That's from Tennessee. Depends on what you mean. There's a bunch of stuff from Tennessee. Yeah. I've worked Overchurch from Tennessee. If you know the names of the church, you can type in and ask Jack Crafty, Dover Church, Jack Crafty, Fort Payne Church, something like that. It might come up. Even Jack Crafty Tennessee rocks or something like that might work. I've got lots of videos, so I can't remember one thing. I can't remember the titles of them all, and then the other thing is I might have done something that I don't even realize that I'd done. But yeah, I've worked a lot of Tennessee rock to answer that question. Vince says, thank you. You're very welcome. Let's see. Tommy Taylor says, I was here early, then had to go to a granddaughter softball game. Yes, that's quite okay. Brennan says, Patrick, I have 8 pounds of Mozartite in 2 larger size nodules, which I know is pretty rare at that size. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to Danny to have him heat treat it and saw it into percussion slabs. Very good idea. For sure, I'll send some your way when it happens. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see here. Keith asks, Pat, was that a 3/8 copper rod you used tonight or 1/2 inch? It was 3/8 tonight. Only 3/8. So on this particular video. Let's see. Okay, I read that one. I'm trying to catch up here. I'm missing a bunch of chat. I'm looking for questions, comments, and complaints on the knapping. Yeah, I use a Bic lighter for reference on my auctions now when I compare the size of the points to something that is pretty standard, because my hands are small and these pieces look bigger. I've had guys say that they received the pieces and they look a lot smaller than they did on video. So I try to emphasize that they're going to look bigger on video because my hands are relatively small. So I use a lighter now. Let's see here. Okay, Mike Tuff says, looks like Mary might be the last entry in the contest. Mary says, okay, I thought some were saying sizes of nodules inside the egg. All questions are good questions. Yeah. Unless you ask a question that is not related to anything. Oh, Tommy Taylor guessed at the weight of this egg in the contest without seeing it. I guess I could do that too. It's in grams though, right? I can't imagine. I can't get a good handle around grams, or I would guess. Okay, well, I'm going to call it a night, guys. It looks like everyone that's going to be here was here. Sometimes people show up after the live stream and they say, hello, everybody. And they're late. I mean, really late. Yeah. Use the community page. Mike Tuff says, tell me if it showed up. I listed the video in Patrick's community page. If you see it, you can guess. Jim Main says, just guess anyway. Yeah, that's true. Okay, night dudes and dudettes, said Brennan. Good night, good night. Thanks, Patrick, for the napping lesson tonight. Oh, you're welcome, Keith. It was good. It was fun. Yeah. I like the results. Hornstone was at the top of my list at one time for stone to work with because it has that feel that I like. So it was good. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to end the live stream here. It's good to see everybody. The next live stream is Monday during the auction from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, same thing now on all live streams. First hour is chat. The second hour is a mix of napping and chat. So I'll nap 45 minutes and then try to catch up with the chat in the last 15 minutes or so. You know, it's not perfectly timed, but you know, you get the idea. So I'm doing that every live stream. I'm napping now every live stream. And I'm not going to be napping obsidian, but I will nap some dacite obsidian if it's coarse enough and it doesn't produce really small, very dangerous shards. Because I'm in my house. I'm not going to nap glass or that high grade, really, really sharp obsidian in my house. I'll do it out in the shop. All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.